All right, hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be starting a new project. To start, you're going to get two pieces of paper. Both are 6 inches by 6 inches. You'll have an envelope, and I'll explain what this is for later. And you'll also need a ruler. So the first thing we want to do with these 6 by 6 pieces of paper is we need to hold the ruler up to, and we're going to mark every inch. So there's 5 inches, 4 inches, 3, 2, and 1. And I want to make lines that go all the way across, just like so. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. And I'm gonna go right ahead and just write my name on this and my class. And I can set that aside. We'll be coming back to this one in a bit. And now this one, you're gonna do the exact same thing, but you're gonna do one little thing different. So I wanna mark 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, and 5, bringing us total to 6 inches. Then just right across, I'm gonna draw a line, another line, all the way down, just exactly like we did that last one. Now, this one's different. We want to save just a little chunk up here, so I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm going to find a 1/2 inch. For me, that's right here. I'm going to mark it, and I'm going to draw a line straight across, and I'll have something that looks like this. So together I have two things like this. Just to be safe, I can write my name and class on the back of this one. So I have these two, and let's talk about what's going on the front. So with our papers, we want to make 2 collages. One is going to be focused on warm colors. The other one is going to be focused on cool colors. If I take my color wheel here and I take this black string and I put a line right through it with the string, this divides our color wheel into 2 parts. This top half here is going to be our warm colors. Colors like red, orange, yellow, those are all considered our warm colors. Our colors down here, violet, blue, green, these are considered cool colors. So on one of my collages, I want to focus on red, oranges, and yellows. The other one, I want to focus on blue, green, purple. For our collage, we're going to be going through different magazines. Magazines are really great for finding images with different texture from all across the world, stuff you might have never seen before. So to get started, I'm going to try and find something that has a warm color to it. And I like the look of this watch. It's mostly yellow. That'll fit perfectly for our warm colors. So what you should do when you find something you want cut out of a magazine is you're going to go ahead and rip it right out. And you can set the magazine aside and then grab your scissors. Go ahead and cut out the pieces you want. And I'm not going to glue anything just yet because I want to make sure that I have time to sort of arrange this in a way that I want. So I'm just going to set it on top of my warm color collage for now. And just a reminder, here's a really great example. I see a lot of greens. This would be perfect for our cool toned side. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to rip the page out. And then I can go in with my scissors and cut what I need. And I only want a little bit of this. Maybe someone at my table might want to use some of this green. That's fine. So I can save them some of it by just cutting out a little bit of green for myself. And I can set this over on my cool tones collage. Now, earlier I had brought up having an envelope. Say we're towards the end of class and you haven't glued anything or you only have a few things glued down, you can go ahead and write your name on this as well as your class. And all the pieces that you don't have glued down can just slip right into that envelope and it'll be there for you next class when you're ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish my 2 collages and I will see you when it's all done. All right, and so here are my 2 piles. I have all of my cool tone images over here on one side and all of my warm tone ones on the other. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is start arranging this in a way that you like. And one thing I really want you to see is that my collage pieces are no bigger than a playing card. They are rather small because I wanna have a big variety of different textures and images to make both of these collages. So the next step will be, I'm gonna set my cool tone collage off to the side here, and I'm just gonna focus on the warm tone one. Then what I wanna do now is start arranging this in a way that's interesting to me, so that way I can get ready to glue it down. Here I am just playing with the different things that I cut out, trying to put it in a way that's interesting and shows off all those different textures and images. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna look at this and I think I can go ahead and glue this. When we're using glue sticks, we don't want them out very far, just a little bit is okay, and we can always twist up if we need more, but if we twist them all the way out, that's when things break, or they just don't work properly. It's best when we use them to just have them out a little bit, and when we're not using them, we have to remember that they always need to have their cap on tightly. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this as well as my cool toned one, and I will see you when those are all done. All right, so I have these done and I have the lid nice and snug back on my glue stick. Now, some of your images, you might have a bit of overhang with them. You can just go ahead, snip that right off, because it'll sort of get in the way for the next part of our project. So once that's out of the way, this is also a good reminder that if you have these little bits of scraps, those can go right ahead, go in the garbage. And yeah, so we drew these lines on the back of these. For this one, we want to label them. I'm gonna write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This one, we won't have to label it. And we're doing that because we're gonna be weaving these 2 collages together to make an interesting sort of mix between the warm colors and the cool colors. So I'm gonna take my scissors and I can just start with this one and cut all the way down on each one. I'm following that black line I made. All these lines are 1 inch apart. Nothing to worry about. And there. Now with this one, we drew this line 1/2 inch from the corner here. When we cut, we want to stop at that line. We don't want to go any further. So I'm going to take my scissors and cut right up to that line and then stop. This keeps our paper intact. Keep going and stop. And I'll do that for my last 4 lines. Cut, and then when I reach that line, stop. All right, so now you'll have something that looks like this. And this is maybe the trickier part of this project. So I'm going to take my one that says number 1 on it, and I'm going to weave it through these little strips of my collage. So I'm gonna start, lift one, go under, then over, under, over, under, and then over. What'll really help with this project is if things are glued down really well. I can tell down here that I might need to go back with a little bit more glue because that might get in the way as I work down the bottom of this project. And that will hold right there. And now I'll find the next one, it says 2. Now here I went under, so this time I want to go over. I want to do the opposite of what I did with the last strip. So now I'm going to start over. I'll lift this one up, go under, over, under, over, under. I can slide that up. Then you guessed it, we're taking number 3, and you can tell, oh, I can definitely fix that really quick. That's an easy fix. All right. Oh, goodness. This can happen sometimes. This project is a little tricky, but the end result is so cool. Over and then under. All right. One thing that might help if you have this issue of where they're sliding out, you can go ahead and take your glue stick and just put a little glue underneath the last one that you wove where it's over on the edges, and that'll help hold it in place so it doesn't slide out on you. So I'm gonna go ahead, I did 1, I did 2, next I wanna do 3, 4, 5, and then 6, and I will see you when it is done. All right, and just like that, I have my final project all done. What I think is cool about this is you have so much to look at and so many different textures happening, while also sort of this battle between the warm and cool colors that it just creates such an interesting and unique work of art. One thing I noticed with mine is that I think because we're leaving this 1/2 inch, you might not have room for your last strip, and that's totally okay. I would just recommend gluing down your edges so that it stays together. And yeah, that is our final project. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm so excited to see what you all make. As a bonus, here's my cat. And bonus points if you can tell me if he's warm or cool toned. Thank you.